Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 15 of the NFL 2017 season. And my predictions, we are mercifully coming to the end of this season, at least for some of us whose teams suck, including mine. So, just looking back on last week's predictions, we went 11-5. I technically, on ESPN.com, got the Falcons-Saints pick wrong. But that was just because I was late predicting it. I would have picked the Falcons, trust me, so I'm counting it. So we go 11-5 last week, which brings our season total after 14 weeks to 138-70. Not bad. So just going over last week, after the Falcons-Saints game, it was the Buffalo Bills at home against the Colts. I went with the Bills, as did 91% of people. They win the game 13-7. This game was played in a blizzard, a lot of snow. That explains the lack of scoring, lack of offense. Surprisingly, only 2 turnovers, though, and only 1 fumble. Well, 1 lost fumble. Anyway, we got that pick right, which brought us to the Chicago Bears on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably the surprise of the week. The Bengals not only lose, which I and 93% of people picked them to win, they lose 33-7 to the Chicago Bears at home. So, not a good outing for the Bengals. Any hope that they had of making a comeback for the wild card goes out the window. Their offense is absolutely atrocious. Then that brought us to the Dallas Cowboys on the road against the New York Giants. Giants are awful. I went with the Cowboys. They win. They are now 7-6. Then we had the Detroit Lions on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers suck, but I'm a Lions fan. I expected the Lions to lose. So I picked the Buccaneers to win. And they nearly did, but the Lions end up kicking a field goal near the end of the game to take a 24-21 lead, which was the final score. Then we had the Oakland Raiders on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs were due to win another game. They were at home. I took the Chiefs. They got it done. So they moved to 7-6 on the season. Then we had the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the Carolina Panthers. 73% of people went with the Vikings. They've won so many games in a row. I've been picking against them because Case Keenum's their quarterback, and they're just bound to lose. On the road against a good team, I thought the Panthers was a pretty good pick, even though hardly anybody went with them. I did, and they get the win. That brought us to the 49ers on the road against the Texans. I took the Texans to win at home against the awful 49ers, but the 49ers win this game 26-16, which brings us to Denver. It was the Denver Broncos at home against the New York Jets. I went with the Broncos. Only 25% of people went with the Broncos. I figured they would get it done at home, and they do 23-0 in that one. The Jets only had 100 yards of offense and 6 first downs. Then we had the Cardinals at home against the Titans. 81% of people went with the Titans. I said that the Titans aren't a great team. They're pretty good. Cardinals are up and down, but they're at home. I just like their chances of getting the win, so I went with the Cardinals, and they pull it off. So a lot of upset picks for me this week. Makes me feel pretty good. Anyway, we had the Chargers at home against the Redskins. I took the Chargers. They've been playing good football, and they win again. And believe it or not, they are in first place in the AFC West after starting the season, 0-5? 0-4, something like that? Yeah, so pretty big turnaround for the Chargers. That will be interesting between them and the Chiefs as the season comes to a close. Then we had the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Rams. I took the Eagles coming off of that loss to the Seahawks to get it done on the road, and they do. They win that game 43-35, but of course lose Carson Wentz for the season. Not good for them. Then we had the Seahawks on the road against the Jaguars. Jaguars up and down. Seahawks, pretty good team. I went with the Seahawks to get it done on the road, but hats off to the Jaguars. They win 2 in a row. They get the win 30-24, which brought us to Sunday Night Football. Steelers at home against the Ravens. Pretty easy pick. I went with the Steelers, but it was a very close game. Steelers ended up pulling it out 39-38, which brought us to Monday Night Football. 4% of people went with the Dolphins at home over the Patriots. I was not one of them. And the Dolphins actually get it done in a very surprising outcome. They beat the Patriots 27-20. Which obviously not many people saw coming. So yeah, we went 11-5 last week. That puts my season total to 138-70 after 14 weeks of football. Now we get into week number 15. I'm recording this on Friday. Last night, it was the Denver Broncos on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. As you see here, I picked in time this week the Denver Broncos to get it done, and they do. They win that game 25-13. So then we get into this week, and I honestly did not even know there were Saturday games until earlier today. and my team, the Detroit Lions, are playing tomorrow, Saturday. I know the NFL starts doing Saturday games the last few weeks up until the final week. And I know they do Saturday games if like Christmas is on Sunday or something like that. Anyway, I had no idea that my Detroit Lions were playing tomorrow, but they are. They're at home against the Chicago Bears. 94% of people going with the Detroit Lions. That's just a lot of confidence in the Lions that is not warranted. This game is a coin flip, 50-50, but they're at home. They are a better team. They suck. They're not making the playoffs. But I do believe that the Lions will get it done tomorrow against the Bears. Then we have a huge game in the AFC West tomorrow night. 7-6 Chargers against the 7-6 Chiefs. Winner of this game, quite frankly, should win the AFC West at that point. I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think these teams are pretty even, but the Chiefs are at home and it is a night game. So give me the Chiefs in Arrowhead to get the win over the Chargers. Then that takes us to Sundays, the Miami Dolphins on the road against the Buffalo Bills. I like the Bills at home in cold weather against a team like Miami, who I don't think is very good anyway, despite being 6-7. Then we have the 5-8 Bengals on the road against the 10-3 Vikings. Vikings are at home. Vikings have a good defense. Bengals have a terrible offense. I don't know how the Bengals are going to score points, so give me the Vikings to win this game. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens on the road against the Cleveland Browns. 0-13 Cleveland Browns. I called it last week with the Browns and the Packers. Speaking of which, I don't remember talking about that game. Let me go back real quick. I think I skipped over it. But Packers beat the Browns on the road. I did say last week that game could be very interesting and the Browns could very much win it. And they were in a position to win it. I think they were up 14 in the fourth quarter. They ended up blowing it and losing by 6. Anyway, back to this week. Browns at home against Ravens. Another winnable game for the Browns, but I don't see it happening. Give me the Ravens over the Browns. Then we have the Packers on the road against the Panthers. Is Aaron Rodgers playing? I don't know. I don't care. I don't think it matters. Panthers will get the win at home over the Packers. Then that brings us to the New York Jets, 5-8 on the road against the 9-4 New Orleans Saints. Saints at home, much better team, easy pick. Give me the Saints. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles at 11-2 on the road against the 2-11 Giants. No Carson Wentz, but it is the New York Giants. Give me the Eagles to beat the Giants, even without Nick Foles, or even without Carson Wentz. Then we have the Washington Redskins, 5-8 at home against the 6-7 Cardinals. Cardinals playing on the East Coast at 1 p.m. Cold weather. Give me the Redskins to win this game. Then we have the Houston Texans on the road against the 9-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. 95% of people going with the Jaguars. I'm going with the Texans as a big underdog to get the win outright over the Jaguars on the road. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks at 8-5 hosting the 9-4 Los Angeles Rams. Big game in the NFC West. Seattle is at home. A lot's on the line. Teams like Seattle just seem to rise to the occasion in these scenarios. So give me the Seahawks to beat the Rams, which brings us to San Francisco, who are 3-10 and hosting the 8-5 Titans. This will be a battle, but I like the Titans to pull it out on the road. They're not a great team, but they will get this win. Then we have the New England Patriots at 10-3 on the road against the 11-2 Steelers. Another really tight game. This could determine the number 1 seed in the AFC, perhaps. 54% of people going with the Steelers at home. Nothing wrong with that pick at all. In my opinion, this game is a toss-up, but I'm not betting against Tom Brady. Give me the Patriots to beat the Steelers on the road. Which brings us to Sunday Night Football. 7-6 Dallas Cowboys on the road against the 6-7 Raiders. Raiders just have not lived up to expectations. I don't care if it's Sunday Night Football. I don't care if it's on the road. Give me the Cowboys to beat the Raiders, which brings us to Monday Night Football. 8-5 Atlanta Falcons on the road against the 4-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa sucks. Falcons win 28-13. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As always, please be sure to comment below with any of your thoughts on my predictions or any of your predictions for this week. And be sure to subscribe where you can see next week's video where I break down all of these games I just predicted and predict all the games next week as we roll to the NFL playoffs. We'll see how this season shakes out. Thank you everybody for watching and goodbye.